Hi everyone, I just want to explain our lantern roof blind comes to you flat packed on a belt drive. As you can see in the photograph, that there is two sides, a top and a bottom, and two cover strips. You've got the choice of either having a solar panel that comes with it, a battery operated, and or the alternative is a mains transformer. When you get the two blinds sides, you will notice on the sides of them there's allocated numbers: side 3, side 4. When it comes to the rails, there is side 3 on there and there is side 4 over there. And then come to the other side, and that will be side 2 and side 1. So you would just simply get the rails, and as you can see, side 1 is on the bottom of there. You'd bring that over, put that side. I've made the blind a little bit smaller so you can just more user friendly. And then we bring the bottom down to the bottom. We'll take the two cover strips out of the wheel, which are numbered up to 5. So your cover strips got 5 on them. You would bring the head rail up to the top. You've always got to make sure that these little fingers here in the rail are facing downwards and they're not on the top. That's how you know that you've got the right sides. These little corners here have got indentations in them. They need to be facing up when you're fixing the blind. So what we do is we line that up with that, and we would put the blind together in the little finger bit on the side there. It goes into the blind. Okay, so we've assembled the corner of the blinds, and you must make sure that this top here is over the top of the rail, and it's the same this side. The top is over the top of the rail. When it comes to the bottom is over the side of the rail. We have now put the tilt rod in its place, and it's connected into the motor, and it's also coming out this side with the wires ready to connect. The two screws in this must be facing upwards. This is for adjustments later on when you've operated the blind. So what we'll now do is connect all the power supply up, which is easy to connect. The two connectors will just go together there, and then when it comes to the top, we'll put the battery power supply in the top, and we'll connect that in with a spring. So we have now put the battery into the top of the head rail, and this end down here, as you can see, the two connectors. If we put the two connectors together, you hear a jog. Like that. And that means now the blind is now powered up and ready to go. So what we do next is we'll turn the blind over. You may need somebody to give you a hand with this. And as you can see, in all 4 corners, there's a screw to be connected into the corners to stop it from coming apart. And when you put in the screws in, make sure they're totally tight on both sides. And this little black port here will be for your solar panel to go through, or your mains power to go through. So I'll just connect the 4 small screws. So as you can see, we put all the little screws in the corners, on all 4 corners. You can now get somebody to give you a hand to turn the blind back over onto its back. and there he goes. We'll just tidy these up in a little while when we put the covers and everything on it. And then we just get the remote control while it's down on the floor, and we'll just press down on the remote control and the blind should come down. And then press back up on the remote control. You can see it's all closed tidy. If this line hasn't closed perfectly tidy here, you need to move the blind back up a little bit until the screws come upwards. Stop. You can undo these two screws here. You would slide this across to one side, and then once you've moved this tilt rod over to the one side there, this would let this side move up or down depending on which way you slid this rod onto this one or this one. But I recommend to slide it over to that one, and you would just literally grab out of the rail and move it down or up to make sure it's straight. Put the tilt rod back on and tighten the screw back up, and that's how you would have done a fine adjustment on it. At the other end, there is a spring in there with a tensioner in there, which is tensioned up to stop the fabric from sinking in the center, which is quite normal. You just need to check the tension on there. When the solar panel comes in through this little porthole here, you would connect it into the little micro C connector over there, and if the sun is out on the day or it's quite bright, this light would flash, come on to red to say that it's going to start charging. When it's fully charged, it would change to green. But as long as the light comes on in daylight, you know this connected and is working. We have now fitted the cover over the motor and tidied up the wires inside there, so that's all done. I do recommend leaving this cover off until you fitted the blind up on its side rails. After you fitted them, once you fitted two side rails, you would leave the top and the bottom rails off until you put the blind at an angle to slide up over the top of the rails and then bring it down and rest onto the top of the rails. Once you've done that, you can fit your solar panel up into the window and then bring the cable through the back, and then you can put the cover strip back on the top then once you've connected it onto the battery. And that will just go on there and it'll click in and push it all the way and snap into place. So this blind is upside down now at the moment. You've just tested it to see whether it's moving. It would literally need to be turned all the way back over to be installed. So you would turn this blind right the way over so the screws are facing up the top. The connector for the solar panel is up the top. And then once you've put it up onto its side rails and rested it down on it, then that blind is installed in there. You can fit the bottom rail and the top rail and just screw them into place, and you should be all good to go.